So I'm up here sort of at the roof of our box truck, and you can see our roof rack there, our custom roof rack. And we had a question recently from Ray about how exactly we did this, specifically with the mounts to it, our custom brackets that we used to attach all this. So I started typing out a reply, and I thought, you know, maybe it'd be easier to just hop up here and make a quick video and show you what exactly we did here. So we have a fiberglass roof with a single sheet panel over the entire roof, and basically every box truck I've been seeing for quite a while, either you're going to have a fiberglass sheet on the roof or you're going to have a very thin sheet metal sheet across the roof, and the sheet metal's, you know, like I said, it's very thin. And so either way, they have roof bows, they call them, which are kind of like rafters, right? They go across. And typically, like in our case here, they're bowed up so that the center of the roof is just a tiny bit higher than the edges of the roof. And so we have the fiberglass one, but whether we had fiberglass or sheet metal, we're not bolting solar panels onto the roof. So we had to do something, whether we put on like a false roof or whether we did a roof rack, which is what we decided to do. And if you look at the side here, when I first got this truck home, we got it home at night from Montana, got up the next morning, crawling around looking at it, and I noticed you got this nice channel on here that goes all the way around the sides. Not all box trucks have this. A lot of them do. It's not unique to this one, which is a Superior Corporation, or Supreme, excuse me, Supreme Corporation, which was bought out by somebody else, and there's been a lot of consolidation in the box truck world, I guess. But so not all of them have this channel on the top, but a lot do, beyond just the brand we have. So if you got this, you kind of have two options. You can attach something on here for roof racks, or you can use a through wall system where you have a plate that comes up here, and then you have the bars that go across, the cross members. If you don't have this kind of a channel, the only option I've seen people doing is, you know, literally some kind of an arm here and then going across. So depending on your truck design, you may have at least one option or possibly two options. If you got this kind of design, you got two options for how to mount a roof rack on a box truck. Most box trucks don't have roof racks on them. If you watch the box trucks you see driving around your city or down the highway, once in a while you'll find one with a roof rack, but it's not a very common thing. So I think anybody that's doing it is kind of doing some kind of custom type thing. So I decided what I wanted to do. As soon as I saw it, I said I want to attach to this rail and have cross members going across to form our roof rack system. Then we can mount our solar and whatever else we need to mount on there. Way over on the other side there, you can see a piece of metal that's been painted black. That's where our Starlink Mini goes with the flat mount we have for it from Veritas Vans, and the solar in the back, of course. And there'll be more solar going on our roof deck here fairly soon, very, very soon, actually. So as soon as I looked at this, I knew what I wanted to do, but I also knew that there's a slight rise in the middle, so I was going to have like some kind of shim or spacer to come up a bit so that our horizontal or cross members would clear the rise in the center. And so this is what we came up with right here, these brackets. Now, it took me quite a bit of hunting around to find these. This was not as easy as it might have been. So I looked like every hardware store I could find. I kept looking for things. And yes, in theory, I could have made my own brackets, but I was going to, let's say I got 1, 2, 3. I've already got a dozen of these on the roof, and we haven't quite covered the front, which we may or may not do. So if we extended it all, I'm going to be at like 16 brackets. And I don't really have a metal working shop or access to a metal working shop. So the idea of trying to make like 16, 12, 14, 16 brackets that were going to be uniform out of like flat stock metal or whatever just seemed like, and it was destined to give me some aggravation down the road. So I was looking for some kind of brackets. I kept looking around at the hardware stores in different places where they had metal, trying to see if I could find something that would work. And so I figured you know, like a Z channel or C channel or anything like that, I could melt it on here and then attach horizontal cross members to and be good to go. I happened to find these things at our Menards store, and they were in the section with a bunch of other gate hardware and fence hardware. And the specific purpose of these, I'll have a link to the exact product in the description. It's not an affiliate link or anything, just a link so you can go to Menards website and see it with more details. But the idea is, I believe, because they have this one and they have a similar one that is designed to, it's open on the top, so it's like a Z instead of this bar, closed bar like this. The idea, I think, is they use these to where you can like have a gate or something, and you tuck a piece of lumber into one end, into this end, actually, right? And then you can drop it down on the other one. I think that's what these are for. It's not a style of security I've seen in a long time, but I think that's the point, is to like, just like a bar thing. So what we did then was we just set these on here, and we drilled through. I had to stagger these a little bit side to side because our rivets through here are staggered side to side. They're evenly spaced, but they're not lined up at the same distance from the front or back of the truck. So anyways, we set these where we wanted them, drilled through, and this is aluminum, so it went fairly easy. Drilled through, bolted it up with stainless steel hardware, and then as far as, so we had our riser to have something, a cross member get across. So the choice was pressure treated 2x4s or like square stock metal. I couldn't find square stock metal locally any longer than 6 feet, and we have an 8-foot wide truck, so that was not going to work for us. I would love to have gone with metal, but I couldn't find any. So we did the pressure treated 2x4s. We painted them good with exterior paint, and we installed them, and everything's working so far. The brackets here are fantastic. Our spacers, I don't think we're likely to ever have any trouble with these, certainly not for many years. So that's working beautifully. They're nice and heavy metal. They're holding up great. I am concerned that over time, these 2x4s may warp out on us. I've seen a lot of people do pressure treated wood for roof racks on vans and cargo trailers and all the rest. And it seems like over time, they like to weather and crack and warp. And so that's why we painted them good on top of being pressure treated, to hopefully extend that and slow down that process from occurring. Our roof deck here is also pressure treated decking, and we also put water sealant on that to hopefully extend the life of that as well. It's all very strong. So, but hopefully we don't have a problem with these 2x4s, pressure treated 2x4s warping. If we have trouble with it, since after I did this, I found out locally a place where I can get 8-foot square stock steel. And so if we have trouble with the 2x4s in the future, we'll remove them one at a time and replace it with steel. That's just going to wait and see if we actually have a problem, or, you know, if it's all good. And this view here may give you a little better idea of how this all works, but again, these are drilled through and with stainless steel bolts and bolted up underneath and all the nuts on here are nylock washers, or nylock nuts. So they have the plastic lining, nylon lining in them that makes them not come loose. They use them on airplanes and stuff. So they're a little more expensive, but figured it was well worth it for this application. We did, of course, use washers on the top to help keep the bolts from pulling through the wood. But that, like I said, so far working fine. This would be the only concern I have, is if the 2x4s will eventually warp and stuff. If they do, you know, I found a source now, we can get some metal for them and replace them with that. I would have done that in the first place if I'd known about it. And then this part here, when we put the roof deck on, and the idea is to have lots of room for our Starlink and for solar and for whatever else. Technically, we could sit up here and watch the stars or something if we want to. Don't know if we'll ever do that, because you got to climb on the roof to do it, but you know. The screws holding down, this is actually just 5/4 pressure treated decking from Home Depot. We used 4 screws at each stud, so there's 12 screws on each board, and these are exterior rated screws, so they should hold up fine. Again, you know, if there's unlike you put nails in decking, they want to pop over time. So usually the screws hold up for quite a few years, especially if they're exterior coated. So again, we'll keep an eye on it. If we have a problem, we'll tack it down again, but hopefully that'll be fine. We left this opening here. Our kitchenette area is right underneath here. And so we left this piece open. It's been painted before with an elastomeric paint, I think, some kind of paint anyway. You do get light through, but it's filtered a little bit. The front we have gone and I didn't mention when we were up there, but the front we did repaint with elastomeric paint. It's got like 3 or 4 coats on it. It still lets light through, which is cool, but it bounces an incredible, almost all the heat off. It's really wild stuff. And anywhere we got shade, the roof is not hot at all. And even in the front where it's not shaded with a roof deck or solar panels, like in the back, you can put your hand on there and it's exactly the same temperature as the part that's in the shade. So really cool stuff. We actually recently coated our travel trailer roof with the same stuff, and it really does make a difference with keeping it cooler in the summer. But right here, we decided to leave this section open and not put the roof deck over it. So our kitchenette's right under here, and this serves as a skylight. So we actually have natural light filtering down into our kitchen area, which is really cool. We're also putting electric lights in because, of course, if it's dark or if it's cloudy, you don't get much light. But that's the idea with that. So fairly simple system. The hardest part was drilling through the wood was not hard, but then drilling through the steel. But these have 2 holes on each side, and so we were able to drill through and put stainless steel bolts in. And that was really easy drilling through the aluminum. It was just a little bit of a challenge drilling through the steel, and it's doable. It just, make sure you got a good sharp bit, and if it's a hot day, take your time because your drill's going to get hot. But that's just how it works. And these are Menards that we found them. I have not seen them at Home Depot or anything. We don't have a Lowe's nearby, so I can't tell you about that. But this is what we got going. So that's what we got going there. I'll have a link in the description to the Menards thing. Like I said, not an affiliate link or anything, just so you can see it. And if you do want to order some or check them out, that's where we found them. It was really just a hit and miss thing of going to every hardware store, even when we were out of town, looking in the restores, the Habitat for Humanity restores, when we visited those, just looking for anything that would meet the needs for what we had up there. And once we found these at Menards, I picked up a couple of them and brought them home and made sure they were going to fit before I bought the rest of them. So we didn't want to end up with a bunch of parts that were not going to work for us. I'll pop inside here and real quick I can show you a couple of things I was talking about. So you see where the roof deck extends to. There's a little bit of natural light comes through on the sides, which is fine. We may actually put some elastomeric paint on the sides too, but we'll see. You can see a little bit here where the line is where we'd put elastomeric paint on and where it did not have. And that just stays literally exactly the same temperature. That elastomeric paint really bounces off this heat and it just does not roast you, which is wonderful. So we've got this natural light. Part of the deal with putting the roof deck on and the solar panels was that we know it'll also protect you from hail. The elastomeric paint is like a rubberized coating, so it should also help some with that, although maybe not as much as, a complete shelter on it. And if we come over to our kitchenette here, and this is still a construction zone, so it's a bit of a mess. We're fixing it up to go out camping, but so we have our kitchenette's going to be here, and this may get redone in the future too, but for now it's what we got. But over it, this is the hole we left open in the roof deck, so we have natural light filtering down on our kitchenette area. So I hope that answers your questions, gives you a better idea about exactly how we did that roof system. There's not really just one way to do it, because there isn't, as far as I'm aware, there's not really box truck specific roof racks. That doesn't seem to be a thing, because most people don't put roof racks on their box trucks, probably because you got a lot of cargo room inside already, and then you have to have a ladder to get up on the roof to get to anything. And they're already, our truck's like, I think 10 and a half feet high, or right about there. So most people aren't wanting to raise that even higher. So if you need to do it, your 2 basic styles, like I said, if you got this kind of a channel around your roof, you can do what we did, attach something to that, raise it up, and put your cross members on. Otherwise, with either style of whether you have that channel or don't, you can also put a vertical support on there, which is basically a steel bar that bolts to the walls, and then has cross members going across from there. I think it's Live Simple, Live Free is the name of the channel. They did a box truck a little bit ago, and he used that style. He found them on Amazon somewhere, with the uprights, and the trick he had was, I think their truck was 7 feet wide, if my memory's right, but he had to hunt to find one that had cross member bars long enough to work with the width of their truck, because most of them were only up to 6 feet, which is what we used to have on our cargo van too. Then as far as this thing that I did, I came up with this idea just looking at the truck, how I wanted to do it. And then I got watching Van Life Meow's YouTube channel. That's Dave from down in Nebraska, not too far from us. And he had a friend who has some a metalworking shop, and they were able to do some custom aluminum roof racks. So really nice roof rack design he's got going. If you got the kind of shop and equipment where you can make something like that happen. We didn't, so we went with prefab. We hunted till we found some prefabricated brackets to attach to the roof, and then we used pressure treated 2x4s. If you can go all aluminum like the Van Life Meow box truck, box van, it's going to be a little lighter than what we did, but we have the 16-foot, and our GVWR is 12,300. We're going to be nowhere near that when we're done. We'll get it weighed when we're done, and we'll share that information, but we're going to be nowhere near our weight capacity on this truck, so we had the margin to do what we did. But yeah, if I have to redo some things at some point, I'll probably keep the brackets we've got on there because they worked really well after I found them, and then just do metal tube steel, tube square stock going across. I hope that information was helpful, and if you're trying to figure out how to do a roof rack on your box truck or on a cargo trailer, it's even the same principle on a cargo trailer generally. Now, I'm not positive, but the one vertical one I mentioned, that the Live Simple, Live Free channel, I think that may have been designed for a cargo trailer. That of course it adapts easily to a box truck. It's the same shape, right? You do have to drill through your walls and bolt it all up if you're doing that. So you just want to make sure you're positioned where you can do that without messing up something else. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, I've got an entire playlist so you can see all of the action, all of the development on our box van build that we've been doing this year.